Hey, it's Samantha,
Kadesha.
Sandy.
and we're back with another insightful episode on the Deeper Than Tech podcast, where we talk about how to progress in your career in an industry that was not designed with us in mind. Make sure you share this podcast with a friend or a coworker. And don't forget to grab a snack because you're going to need something to eat to go along with all this tea.
Okay, so why is there so much grudge in developers about salaries of full stack devs versus front end devs? I didn't know about this grudge.
So there's a little bit of history behind this. So when developers started coming out, the backend was considered the harder part of the stack, and so backend developers would usually get more money. And now that the front end, so backend is going as fast as it can, but we still need to have websites a lot faster for because we're in the 21st century and people are like, I need something right now. So now the front end needs to be really, really fast. So the front end is getting a lot more complicated, and so now the front end engineer salaries are getting higher. So it's just like people still have that mentality that back end developers and their job is harder when it's not true anymore. Like both sides of the stack are equally as important. So that's why there's so much grudge.
Yeah. I remember when I was saying, and I tell people I'm a full stack developer, and they're like, are you really full stack? Like, can you really be full stack? Like, can you really be trained to know front end and back end? I feel like there was a lot of talk about full stack engineers basically mostly being front end, not even back end. I don't know if any of you all have like encountered that, but I know when I was doing my boot camp, when I was talking to people at meetups, they'd always say like full stack engineers are basically like front end engineers, or they're confused. They don't even know like which way they want to go. So is it like are full stack titles even like legit? Basically, that's I'd hear a lot of talk centered on that.
I think full stack developers deserve their titles. If you're able to work on the front end of an application and also go into the back end and fix things, or go into the database and do something, or go to AWS and do some stuff, that makes you full stack. You can work on the front end, the back end, and the database. If you're able to build an app from the ground up, you're a full stack developer. And when it comes to technical skills, you can always build upon your technical skills. And a lot of people decide to specialize in certain areas. But I don't think that argument is very fair.
Yeah, when I think of a full stack engineer, I think of like a T shape. Like you have a lot of knowledge across the whole, both sides of the stack, but then you're gonna like lean towards one side or the other because that's what you are more interested in. But I think being a front end engineer is very special skill as well. Like I know that my job when we transition from an old framework to a new framework, the amount of like knowledge that these people had to do that and still have the app running as we slowly build up small pages was like, how did you even think of that? Like, what?
Yeah.
Can I be as smart
It's
as you?
wild.
Like it's wild what people can do. So just because don't ever let somebody say, oh, front end is not as important, but front end, if people don't like the way it looks, they're not going to use your app. So the front end is super
Exactly.
very important.
Exactly.
100%.